And we're underway. Craig Hall will get us underway for the Wolfpack. And they are at full strength, you would feel, with QLT back in the starting lineup and Ryan Briley back in the starting lineup. Just to give you very quickly the Wolfpack side, QLT, Pownell, Worthington, Hall and Kay, Blake Wallace and Ryan Briley at half-back, and then Emmett, Bezic, Sidlow, Whiting, Laithwaite and Bussey. And it really is a team packed full of stars, and for York it's going to be an uphill struggle. They were in the game in Canada at the start of the month for quite a while, but the Wolfpack holding firm. Important opening set. Here's Bachelor for the York City Knights. Dummy half, Will Jubb, one of those on dual reg from Hull KR. That's a good high teasing kick, and Liam Kay forced all the way back to his own try line. And the perfect set for the York City Knights. Just puts a little bit of early pressure on the Wolfpack.
Well, the Wolfpack really started well defensively. York really struggled to get out of their own 20, and that kick then, it was an enormous kick. It must have travelled 55 metres on the fly to get him out of there, and it's really put him down in the right area of the field at this moment in time.
Jake Emmett, powerful prop forward. Bob Bezic at dummy half for the Wolfpack. Busy as always. Here is Bussey. Really is a big pack. Gets the ball out of their back door. Picked up in the end by Sidlow for Toronto. I think discipline will be important as well. It's the one thing that's possibly let the Wolfpack down. A lack of discipline, giving away too many penalties this season. On the last then, just over halfway, the ball will come back to Wallace, left-footed, high hanger, and it's D. Foggin Johnston who takes it really well, the young winger, under pressure there from Hall and from Johnny Pownell. But a decent opening set from the Wolfpack, but I think the key for York is to be in it after 20 minutes and really start to put some pressure on Toronto.
That's a massive thing for them, Stu. They've got to be in this arm wrestle. They've got to go set for set for them and see who gets the best field position at the time. And at one point during this half, someone's going to make this error, and they're going to be made to pay by the opposition.
Jubb brought down just shy of halfway, and the halfbacks Liam Harris and Connor Robinson will be all important for York. Liam Harris back in the side after an injury, and there goes the kick downfield from Robinson. Another high hanger, but taken really well by QLT, back himself from injury for the Wolfpack. We are expecting points today. 60 points a game they've averaged. Incredible that they scored nearly 1,000 points, Toronto, in the 15 league games.
There's been plenty of games this year, though, Stu, where they've gone through and they've really had to work hard to get their first points on the board. Sometimes going 20 minutes before, and then it sort of, as the game progresses, they just build their way into this game.
Here is Kay. A good defence from York, just shy of halfway. Here is Wallace and Briley. Knock on. The referee will say that went forward. And there is the mistake that you were talking about, Phil. Ryan Briley, and a real chance now for York. They'll get the ball from a scrum on halfway, 0-0. But impressed with the way that York have come out and started here.
To be fair, though, Toronto really did have the numbers there on this right edge. They had the two-man overlap, and they just couldn't come up with the right play. But now York are in such a great position here, on the halfway, going in on the Toronto line. And it's their first effort, so let's see what they can do with the ball.
Jubb, the ball goes out for Harris. I'll tell you, he'll be really interesting to keep an eye on. Jake Butler-Fleming, come here from Hull KR, the Aussie, after a knee injury, making his debut, but plenty of skill and plenty of power, and crunching tackle there from Emmett and from Bussey. Jubb is the dummy half, and Robinson with nowhere to go. Good defence here from the Wolfpack. Whiting with the tackle. They use the short side. Ash Robson, who plenty of experience from his days at Castleford. But then they lose possession, but the touch judge is on here. Phil.
Yeah, touch judges come on there because it's been took off. The man has been took off the ball. But there's one thing I've noticed with this Toronto team. I'm looking at QLT there. QLT is playing really, really short behind the defensive line, and he's there for the first 4 tackles. So it might be an opportunity there for York to put a kick in for this for D on the wing here. He's got plenty of pace, and he might come up with a try if this happens.
Well, that was a late challenge by Bussey. That's what the referee has given. That's what the touch judge saw.
As the ball travelled in the air, he had a dummy going to pick the ball up, and he got tackled on suspicion. So they've got another penalty here. They've got a penalty which has put them further into Toronto's half here, 20 metres off the try line.
Yep, Connor Robinson with the kick. Just making sure that the Wolfpack are onside. Judd with the quick tap, and here is Joe Batchelor, highly thought of here. Of course, York missing their influential captain Ed Smith because of a knee injury today. That could be very important for them. Spears, plenty of experience from his days with Featherstone Rovers. First real opportunity this then for the York City Knights. Short pass out, and Harris will find the ball out on the far side for Butler Fleming. That's the danger. That's where they will go. A good defence from Worthington on the far side for Toronto. Here is Harris, and Robinson again. Long pass out looking for D. Fogging Johnston, who scored a hat-trick for York in the match in Canada 4 weeks ago. Robson, the fullback, runs across the line. Ball goes to the right-hand side again. They've got numbers out there if they want. Zeus Silk it is, who I think has lost possession. One of the most wonderful names in British Rugby League. Zeus Silk, what a name, making his debut from the Hull Academy for the York City Knights. But he dropped the ball, and relief for Toronto. It remains 0-0. 7 minutes gone, but York giving it a real go.
They really did then. They expressed themselves very well. They threw some long passes out there. The initial pass out of dummy half caused some problems to Toronto there on a couple of occasions. The pass sort of took out 3 defenders, and from the back of that, they've tried to have a shot at them. But they can't. Old Zeus has just come up with an error down there inside the 10. That was a big hit there coming in from Fleming.
Yeah, I think the Wolfpack know they are in a game. 15 out of 15 in the regular season. But their coach Paul Rowley knew that they would get a big test here today at Bootham Crescent. And so it's proved to be. Run from Richard Whiting, who played for a long time at Featherstone with the York City Knights coach James Ford. Here's Bussey, does well to get into the York half of the field. But this already the last tackle. Briley hoists the high kick. Who's going to go for it? Well, Powdell did. And in the end, it's pounced on by Kieran Moran. York get it back. A pretty ineffectual set there from Toronto. But York to win 9 out of their last 11 games, to finish 4th in the regular season, takes some doing even at this level.
It takes doing at any level, that, Stuart. 9 out of 11. It breeds confidence to get the first one, and then you get on a roll with your second and your third, and you might have a hiccup, and to keep it going. I know it's a tough gig as a coach to get a run like that, and he's done a great job there, James Ford.
Well, they are playing well. And the crowd on the far side getting behind him. Ned Morrison it was, and
touch judge.
Yeah, the touch judge is on again. Now, what was it I said about Toronto's discipline this season? The 1 weak link, is it going to cost them again?
Yeah, early on you said that to me. You said that it's one of their downfalls is the discipline they got. I think they're the most penalised team within this competition. And if they're going to move forward in this division into the next one, he's hooked in on his neck. He's given a bit of a tweak, put pressure on the joint.
Yep, Bob Bezic, the man picked out. And the referee having a stern word with the Wolfpack number 9.
It's a very enthusiastic start from York. They've not been overawed by the Toronto Wolfpack.
Here is Zeus Silk.
You love that name.
I do. Signed on deadline day from the Hull Academy. Robinson, that's a loose pass. The winger does well. Fogging Johnston to get back, does really well, gets away from Hall, still going. The young man, a lot of pace on him, a lot of skill as well, elusive runner. The Jubb, they come at the short side. There was support if he wanted it from Moran. Moran it will be at dummy half. York looking to strike first here at Bootham Crescent. Robinson, Harris with a little kick through towards the far side. Just a little too heavy from the York City halfback, but under real pressure Toronto in the opening 10 minutes or so. 0-0 it is. But the Wolfpack know that they're going to be in a real battle this afternoon.
They can't afford to give the extra tackle away with a poor kick like that. They've got, you know, the halfbacks, when they're putting that kick in, they've got to be aiming at the try line, not at the dead ball line as they did on that occasion. It's just give them 7 tackles, but they've come up with an error. Poundall's made a mess of the play of the ball, and the scrum again to York inside the Toronto half.
Well, the error from Johnny Poundall, there you are, not controlling the ball at the play the ball. And the referee was spot on.
Now they give a penalty away for mouthing off to the ref.
Yeah. Therein lies the problem. At the moment, they're gifting York the ball and the pressure and the possession. Connor Robinson with the kick to put more pressure on Toronto, who've given away 3 penalties in the first 11 minutes, the Wolfpack, but dissent really in this day and age is unforgivable. Shake of the head from Phil Vivas to my left.
Definitely. Oh, here's a touch judge again. Now they give it up again.
Well, what's happening here? It was Bussey with the tackle, I think, on Jake Butler Fleming. But now the touch judge is on. Let's have a look, see what happened, Phil. Well, I think he was just late on in the tackle, but he's come out of it worse, Jack Bussey.
I don't know what went on there. You couldn't really see anything there on the replay.
It looked like he was possibly rolling on at the end, but Bussey came out of it worse.
But the touch judge has obviously seen something.
I think it's just possibly a team warning here to the Wolfpack skipper, Craig Hall.
Yep, team warning.
Yep, there we have it, team warning. And that means that the next bit of foul play will see a Wolfpack player sin bin.
I think there was slight pressure on the back of the neck as he was going down, and the touch judge has seen that, and they've come up with the penalty.
4 penalties given away in the first dozen minutes by the Wolfpack. And here come the York City Knights with Connor Robinson, the scrum half, signed midway through the season from Halifax. Robson it is, picked up there. Is it going to be a try?
Yes,
it may well be for Jake Butler Fleming. York City Knights hit the front, the bouncing ball. It was picked up first by the big Aussie on debut. And York deservedly hit the front here at Bootham Crescent. Jake Butler Fleming, the Aussie centre, with the try.
Well, at the end of the day, all this pressure that York have built, it's now paid off with points. A nice little offload along the floor to the fullback, Robson. He skipped across the floor, and they always say that bouncing pass is the one that's going to cause a lot of the pressure. And it said, as it did there, we had the Aussie kid come and pick it up on the loose. A big right foot step on the inside of the fullback, and he took the ball in under the post. It's a nice start for York here. Probably the points are justified with all the pressure that they've had in this first half so far.
Well, Toronto, you have to say, architects of their own downfall. York deserved the lead, they deserved the try, they've got the lead, they've got the try. But for Toronto, it's all about the discipline or lack of it. And this should be an easy 4 into 6.
Yeah, I was reading in the paper during the week that James Ford was saying that Toronto would not be getting it all their own way when they came here, but they're going to have to play well to beat York on their home ground. So far, with the pressure that they've built upon the Toronto outfit, the 6-0 scoreline is a true reflection of where the game is at.
So Connor Robinson with the kick to add to the try from Jake Butler Fleming. And we've yet really to see the Wolfpack with the ball in anger in the York half of the field. A high hanging teasing kick by Craig Hall, a good take you have to say by Brad Hay for the York City Knights, but they'll be buoyed full of confidence after the start that they've made. Batchelor twisting out of a tackle, but is that discipline going to come back and halt Toronto under real pressure in the opening quarter of an hour and behind on the scoreboard?
They really do need to complete this set, coming off the back of a try. It's the most important set, is completing this next one after the try and coming to the kick. He's got the kick away, but it's straight to QLT, and he's going to return that to nearly 40 metres away from the try line, so it was a pretty poor kick at the back end of it.
Harris with the kick, QLT always danger, always on the fly with ball in hand. Pownell is brought down for the Wolfpack just inside their own half of the field, and here is Jake Emmett. First real opportunity you feel here for Toronto to put some pressure on the York defence as Sidlow is brought down 30 yards out from the York City line. Bob Bezic, they come the short side to the powerful Jake Emmett, formerly of St Helens and Salford, on the last now. Here is Briley shaping up on the far side, forward pass, it won't count. It was Laithwaite who dived over the try line. They thought they scored the Wolfpack, but the ref will say that was a forward pass.
They haven't got any real qualms about running it on the last tackle. They definitely weren't going to go for the kick there. Really skipping across the line and coming up with a pass there, but it was a judge forward to Laithwaite.
Yeah, double.
He came up short
well.
Anyway, and it would have been a double movement as well, Stu.
Yeah, marginal the call, I have to say, for the forward pass, but I don't think the try would have counted even if Laithwaite had managed to get over the line. Crunching tackle by Jack Bussey. Doesn't take any prisoners, the young man, does he?
No prisoners at all. There's plenty of shoulder in there, and there's plenty of line speed going on at this moment in time. They're really trying hard to restrict York here, and they're doing a great job.
Well, in case you don't know, Phil was a featherlight fullback in his playing days. Played for St Helens for over a decade in a really successful time for the club. Missed out on the big prize at Wembley on a couple of occasions, but a half-decent fullback in his time.
Cheers, mate. That hair then, too.
Another high-hanging kick, but there'll be far too much on that, and there is. That ball will go out. It'll be a tap on the 20. A wasted opportunity, I think, Phil.
Wasted opportunity, but it really does frustrate me with kickers that put the ball over the in-goal area, because giving 7 tackles away is a travesty in this day and age. And they really do need to work on that kicking game, as Toronto now are really working hard with a little bit of width, trying to get off their own 20.
Well, giving away penalties, but against a good team as well. I know they're going to have to dig deep, and and it's picked up there. It could be another try from Ned Morrison underneath the post. Well, the try scorer is Liam Harris, who picked up the loose ball. Another mistake from the Wolfpack, and it was Harris who picked it up underneath the post. It's 10-0 to the York City Knights. A try out of nothing, and the Wolfpack here shell-shocked.
QLT got away with one.
Yeah, QLT dropped it. It was Liam Harris who picked up the loose ball.
They have got away with one here, York, because that ball was touched by the York player. When the pass was going out the back, it was touched by the York player, and QLT dropped it. The York players, the Toronto players, put their hand up to say it was touched, and the referee never went to the screen or nothing. No screen.
But never mind.
But anyway, he's been given the try, but it should never have been a try. It was knocked on by York in the build-up there. So it's unlucky for Toronto. But
we'll have a close look at this after the conversion to see if it did come off a York hand. Phil Vevers is convinced that it did, but you play to the whistle, don't you? And
you do.
That's exactly what they did. Morrison was steaming in, but it was Liam Harris who did pick up the loose ball to score underneath the post. And for the first time this season, really, the Wolfpack in a spot of bother, and to be honest with you, they can't have too many complaints. Here is Robinson to make it a 12-point ball game. Let's have another look at that and see if it did touch the York hand.
Just as he puts his hand in here, there it is, there it is. He's touched it.
Yeah, good spot. It was Jake Butler Fleming.
Really mouthed off to the referee. He's now gone to the sin bin.
Yep. Ryan Briley, for dissent, has gone to the sin bin, and it's all going wrong for the Toronto Wolfpack. But yeah, that was a great spot, that, Phil. It was the first try scorer, wasn't it? Jake Butler Fleming, who just got his fingertips to it, and that took it.
I think that's what Briley was saying to the referee. He was telling him that should never have been a try, that it was touched by the York player. The referee quickly brought out the yellow card and put him in the bin. Oh, error! Oh!
Well, I think he's saying
well,
that the ball...
He's called it knockback, he has,
saying
yes.
The ball from Ash Robson went back. That's a big call.
Well, I would have given a knock on, I surely would.
Well, just in danger of boiling over here. Toronto are clearly frustrated. They're trailed by 12 points to nil. But Ryan Briley in the sin bin for dissent, and here come the York City Knights again. Spears charging down the middle. Tackle coming in from Emmett and also from Sidlow. But York are on a roll. The Wolfpack really are on the back foot. It's a really good kick from Robinson, sensible kick down the sidelines, and will make the Wolfpack back up and pack down 10 yards from their own line.
Chris Siddons has come on for Ronan Dixon as well for York. Bit of fresh blood has come on there to add some impetus. And he took his first carry in that set, and it was a very strong carry as well.
So Jake Butler Fleming with the opening try for York. And then it looked very much like he'd knocked on in the lead-up, touched the ball, which forced an error from QLT, which allowed Harris to score under the post. York lead Toronto by 12 points to nil. The Wolfpack giving away penalties, and they've also lost Ryan Briley to the sin bin for dissent.
Looks like Butler Fleming has lost a contact lens. He's just putting in a new one. Right, he's ready to go, so we'll pack the scrum. And Toronto will bring it off their try line, 10 metres away from their try line.
Well, I don't think anybody expected this. I think we all expected it to be a rough and tumble start, and for York City Knights to come out firing, and the Wolfpack unbeaten all season, trailing after 22 minutes by 12 points to nil. Sense of urgency, and a penalty, first one for the Wolfpack. Interference at the play of the ball, and they pretty much played the perfect game until then, but it was Tim Spears penalised for lying on in the tackle, and it's a poor kick from Wallace, only makes 5 or 6 yards, but desperate times here for the Wolfpack.
Well, they really do need to get into this game, and as you were saying before, they haven't really been inside the York half, and haven't attacked at all without coming up with an error, so this could be it's their second raid, but they came up with an error on their last one, so see if they can be better on this one.
Yep, the captain brought down Bezic, and Emmett looks for a way through. Tackle coming in from Siddons for York. 12 points to nil. You feel that they need a try here. Adam Sidlow right in front of the post, 10 yards out. Danger signals here as Wallace on the move. The little sidestep drops the shoulder, but well read by the York defence on the last tackle. Bezic, little short pass looking for Bussey. Can he force his way over? No, he can't. He's held up over the try line. So great defence from York, and a real attacking threat snubbed out as the Wolfpack come up empty-handed.
They looked a little bit disjointed then with having one of the halves not being on the field, so they didn't really get a shot to the edges. They just went through the middle on a few occasions there with Sidlow and with Emmett. And Sidlow doubled up again, and then Bussey, who charged onto the ball close to the line, but they've got 3 or 4 defenders in there that held him up. Great job by York.
The crowd vociferous. Big crowd, over a couple of thousand here, certainly York's biggest league crowd for the record 7 or 8 years. York taking the game. Part-time York City Knights, full-time Toronto Wolfpack. The league leaders dreaming of automatic promotion to the championship. Here is the menacing Butler Fleming for York on that far side, but he's put the ball down.
Penalty. Penalty.
Yeah, penalty. It looked like Wallace and Worthington in the tackle. Kay as well, frustrated, and all getting a little frustrating for the Wolfpack here.
I think what York really do need to look at when they're bringing outside their 20 metres this moment of time is to have a look where QLT is, because as I said, he's defending very, very short at the line. They've got a breeze at their back, and they could easily come up with a 40-20 if they kicked on the third tackle. If he doesn't go back to tackle 4, QLT, if they keep getting penalties to get him out, they won't need to kick.
Jubb with the tap. Here is Zeus Silk, signed on deadline day, making his debut. Spears brought down for York. A real sense they could get some more points on the board. They were screaming for another penalty there for interference, and a chance here with Brad Hay. Hay 20 yards out from the Toronto line. Here is the fullback, Robson. Robson, well, Hay wasn't expecting the pass, and the error from the Hose side, and a penalty for offside in the end. Accidental offside, but they made a mess of that, that's for sure. 12-0. Big crowd, big atmosphere. Let's go touchline. Aaron Murphy.
I just had a word with Ryan Brierley. He's been sent off to the sin bin. He said it was for dissent. He said he wasn't quite sure why. He was walking away when the referee made the call, but he also said that things will settle down out there. He has full confidence they'll be okay, and he said the mood amongst the Wolfpack is fine out there. Just stay to the process.
Thanks, Aaron. Message is, be patient. They've got a penalty again for interference at the play of the ball. That just signs in the last 5 minutes that Toronto are finally getting into this match.
They're getting a leg up. It looks like there's a little bit of energy going out of the York team at this moment in time. And they're getting a couple more shots down in the York half. But if they keep giving penalties away here, York, then they're going to be defending their try line for a long part of the game.
Worthington brought down, and they go the short side. Lovely move, and here is Greg Worthington again. Wallace involved in everything they do. Here he is, Wallace, and Bussey only knows one way, and that's forward. Jack Bussey stopped right in front of the post. Could do with points on the board. Getting involved again, Bussey, in a bit of argy-bargy, but then the ball comes out to QLT. The pass finds Powell on this right-hand side, but good defence from Robson. And the winger, Steve Foggin Johnston. And here is Craig Hall, the Wolfpack captain.
I think he's put the tackle count back to 0 as
yeah,
well.
I think so. Touched a York hand there. So real opportunity. Emmett and Wallace. The try is surely coming. Run onto the ball there again. And Wallace looking dangerous. Ball comes backwards. A charge for the line. And you just feel that the try is coming. Craig Hall tries to find a way through. Can't. Good defence again from Butler for York. This is the last tackle. What can the Wolfpack do? They come the short side with Bussey, who puts the quick through. 6 to go. It was played out by Brad Hay, the centre for York. So a stroke of luck for the Wolfpack. Powell goes on his own for the try line. 12-0 in favour of the York City Knights. First real spell of pressure for the Wolfpack. Emmett looks to find a way through. There is none. Bezic busy at dummy half. Space on the left if they want it. Hall and Wallace. That's a long pass out there to Liam Kay. Kay though, Powell gets it back inside. It's a loose ball. Well, I thought that was a knock on. The referee says play on.
I tell you, they'll be really, really happy having to sustain 18 tackles on their try line then. But a bit of confusion there between both sets of players, whether who knocked on and whether it was Toronto or whether it was York. But the referees this way play on, and York are bringing it off their own line.
Well, that was a big call. The Wolfpack were convinced that there was a York knock on there. It doesn't matter. Jub at dummy half. And
Great ball.
Great ball from Siddons. Charged through there. Brilliant from Robinson. Well, I think he was trying to be a winger rather than a prop there, Adam Robinson.
Tremendous bit of forward play there from Siddons. He skipped up on an out ball and hit Robinson on a lovely short pass. He put the big right foot step on the fullback. He thought he was round him and then tried to offload. Oh, what a pass. Oh, the big right foot step. Oh, and then he's put the flick pass out.
Deary me.
Knock on from York.
Not the job of a prop forward.
Get your head down, get up, quick play the ball. We'll get him on the next play. That's a simple message that'll be going through James Ford's head when he talks to him at half-time.
Briley back on the field for the Wolfpack after his 10 minutes in the sin bin for dissent. Protesting his innocence as he went off the field. Ryan Briley, 11 tries in 7 games for the Wolfpack. Key figure for them, missed the last 3.
They've got 3-on-2 on this right edge here with QLT and Craig Hall and Johnny Parnell. They've got the split wrong here, York. And they're going there.
Yep. On this short side here is Craig Hall, but a good tackle coming in again from Brad Hay on halfway. Pownell from dummy half. D. Fogging Johnston, the York winger, is opposite number again there with the tackle. Again they come the short side. QLT for Hall. Craig Hall with a little kick across the field. The chase is on now. Can Briley get it? Brilliant defence coming across there from Jake Buckler-Fleming to save it for the York City Knights. The Wolfpack were nearly in, but that was superbly read by the Aussie debutant for York.
Well, they went to the short side twice on that occasion. They went on the scrum, and then the second play when Parnell opened it up, they sent Hall down that right edge, and Fleming really wide awake to that kick play on the inside because Briley was there to pick it up and score under the post, but he really did cover up very well. And to get out of the end goal as well, which he did very well as well, to get past Whiting.
Into the last 10 minutes of the first half, and what a first half it's been for the York City Knights at the start of this Super 8. Good kicked outfield again from Connor Robinson, and QLT forced to chase back. Fui Moi Moi is on for
Sidlow.
The Wolfpack.
Oh no, Sidlow's still on.
Yeah, Sidlow's still on. Emmett's still on.
He's on for Bussey.
Yeah, but Fui Moi Moi is on for the Wolfpack. Yep. Enjoying this thoroughly enjoyable first half here at Bootham Crescent. What a start to the Super 8s in the Kingston Press at League One. Here it is, Fui Moi Moi. Sometimes unstoppable.
There he is. He's just like a double-decker bus coming down a hill. A little bit faster, yeah.
Another good tackle. I'll tell you what, Jake Buckler-Fleming looks a good player. He's here from Hull Kingston Rovers.
Last tackle.
Yep. On
the wrong person with Sidlow.
Ball goes back and it looked to be charged down, but York City Knights have it back, and yet again they make a mess of the last tackle play. Charged down, that's all right.
It was just a shocking setup for the last play. Why would you give it to a front row running down a short side to put a kick in on your last play, and they've come unstuck again with some really poor play there from Toronto.
Will Jubb takes play over halfway. Jubb, another of the dual reg players from Hull Kingston Rovers, and here is Zeus Silk. Never tire of mentioning Zeus Silk. Fabulous name, and a fabulous first half for the York City Knights, that's for sure. Here's Joe Porter on off the bench. Yep, they'll go to the short side. Harris with a little kick through, and that's okay as far as York is concerned. Again, they pin the Wolfpack back 10 yards from their own try line. And York have controlled this game for long periods, Phil.
No, they had there as well, Stuart. It was a great little play there from Liam Harris. Taking it down the short side. Some really good game management on his behalf. getting to the back end of the half here. They really do want the opposition coming off their own try line and putting a kick in 8 metres away from their try line. He's done exactly that. So they just need to aim up defensively here now and get off their line and restrict territory.
And James Ford will be delighted with what he's seen from his team in this first half. And well, they were looking for a knock on and they stopped at the York City Knights, and Bob Bezic running away with the ball. York, I think, claiming there may have been a knock on at the base of the scrum there. Ball comes out to this right-hand side for QLT. Support from Johnny Pownall, but again, good defence from Hay. Here is Hall, Craig Hall, point-scoring machine for the Wolfpack this season. 336 points in 15 games from the Wolfpack captain. Fooey, fooey, moi, moi. Good hands there. Dummy from Wallace looking to carve something out. About 7 minutes to go, 7 or 8 minutes to go, possibly in this first half, as QLT finds Liam Kay. Kay looking for a way through. 5 tries for the Wolfpack against York in Toronto when they played at the start of July. Now Ryan Briley inside for Fooey Fooey Moi Moi, but that was the last. Again, heroic defence. Gotta say, the York defence has been spot on.
There's a lot of them down on their haunches at the moment. They've got through plenty of work, this York side, defensively. They're really working hard for each other, covering each other's back. A really tight unit by the looks of things, the way they're working for each other, and really stifling this Toronto attack.
Here is DFJ, they call him. His name's actually David Foggin Johnston, likes to be called D, so we will call him D. We may even call him DFJ, seeing as the Wolfpack have a QLT. A little lull before the half-time hooter. 5 penalties have been costly for the Wolfpack as well, and the kick downfield for Robinson, looking for a 40-20, and QLT had to be quickly across to take that, but the idea was spot on. They're claiming for a forward pass there from QLT to Pownall. Great chase from the York City Knights.
Offside penalty.
Just too eager. They managed to pin the Wolfpack back, but I think it was Hay who was offside.
Yeah, it was. It was Hay that was offside.
Brad
it's taken
Hay.
these big forwards a little bit of time to get back.
Here is Wallace and QLT. Can they find a way through Toronto? Quick ball through.
Crossley.
Crossley off the bench for the Wolfpack. What will the referee say here?
You stopped the clock.
Yeah, I think
that's for the injury.
Yeah.
Really thought it could have been a penalty to Toronto there.
Yeah, Zeus Silk, I think it was, who's down injured for York. Let's have a look at this.
But to be fair, I don't think Crossley got up to play the ball, but it could have gone either way.
I think he just.
No, he fell over. It should have been a scrum.
I don't think it's a penalty. I think he just stopped the clock for the injury to the York player. Jake Butler-Fleming with the opening try for the York City Knights, and then controversy over the second try. Liam Harris awarded the try for York after Butler-Fleming clearly got a hand on the ball before it was dropped by the Toronto fullback QLT. But I'll tell you what, Paul Rowley, the coach of the Toronto, has his most important half-time team talk of the season to come.
Well, I don't think he'll have a lot more to say to him other than, can you control the ball a little bit better and stop giving penalties away? I think if they can do that, they'll get back in the arm wrestle again, and they'll give themselves a chance of getting in and attacking this York line.
Phil Vevers, former Salford and Workington coach, with us at Bootham Crescent today. Ryan Briley, it's just a moment for the try for the Wolfpack. Wallace again looks for a way through, but he's given the ball away. And another mistake, this time from the halfback Blake Wallace. But you also have to say that York's defence has been, well, it's been a monumental effort, hasn't it?
Scrambled very well for each other. On that occasion, there's two men in the tackle. The guy's gone to offload the ball. Wallace has gone to offload the ball, and York will come up with the ball again. It's just another error upon another error upon another error, and that just seems to be the story of Toronto's half at this moment in time.
Well, York lead by 12 points to 0. Final couple of minutes of this hugely entertaining first half. A jump at dummy half for York. And the kick, well, it's a high hanger this time from Liam Harris. It's a teaser for Pownall, who makes the error. And now a real chance for York. It's a free play. The kick downfield. Well, the winger, DFJ, D. Fuggin Johnston there was saying, why didn't you pass it? Why didn't you pass it? It was a strolling for me if you had. One
pass and the wheels would have been out there for D. He was lining up that corner then. He had the wheels ready to roll. He's a speed machine, DFJ, on this left wing for the York City Knights, and he was pleading for the ball. I'll tell you one thing, Johnny Pownall looked hundreds to catch that ball. Yeah. And it hasn't proved. He came in 100 mile an hour straight off the big chest. I was calling for a shocking last tackle kick. Harris ball inside for Butler Fleming for York City Knights. Closing moments of this first half. For the first time we're going to see Toronto Wolfpack, are we? Scoreless after 40 minutes. But we may see them further behind here as York look to apply the pressure. Good pass there from Siddons, again, ball handling forward. Jubb goes on his own. Jubb goes on his own! Has he got the ball penalty down? For a double movement.
Oh! Well, he was so close there.
A penalty for a double movement.
Yeah. Is that a great opportunity gone for the York City Knights? Jubb went on his own from dummy half. Let's have a look, Phil.
Having a look, he gets underneath. Oh, yeah, he does. He does. He makes that second effort. Actually, yeah.
Just for a moment, we all held our collective breaths. Was it going to be 16-0 to York? I feel that is a wasted opportunity. Was there a case for just being, what must have been a case for just being patient? Rush of blood from the young hooker.
Yeah, it was very much so a rush of blood. He really should have just got up, play the ball. They probably would have got a try off the back of it anyway.
Fooey, moi. Always entertaining when he's on the field. Here is Jake Emmett, who's put in a good stint, you have to say, for the Wolfpack in this first half. Bezic and Briley switches the play with QLT. The Wolfpack desperate to avoid being nilled in the first half here at Bootham Crescent at the start of the Super 8. Knock on. Another error from the Toronto Wolfpack. Phil Beavers.
It was the last tackle when he made the error, but we really do need to get to the kick on these last errors. I think they've only kicked the ball once and they've been down here. We've got to repeat set off the way, twice actually in the same 18 tackles.
I just looked over my right shoulder to where the Toronto coaching unit are, and Paul Rowley, the coach, is talking 10 to the dozen into his little microphone to get messages out onto the field, but the message is plain and clear that the Wolfpack are losing, and you have to say they can't have too many complaints. Here is Batchelor, does really well.
He is to the right of us here.
Yeah. Jubb and Adam Robinson. Robinson used as an impact player for York, very much like Fooey Mournoy is being used for the Wolfpack. Another good run from Will Jubb, highly thought of young hooker. Robinson and Siddons, and here's Harris through the gap. Now has he got support? He has. He could go all the way. What a try! What a fantastic try from Liam Harris on the stroke of half-time, the little show and go, and Harris gets his second. York get their third try right on the stroke of half-time. Little genius, Liam Harris. Wow, Phil Beavers.
Wow. I was ready to blow up. I thought he'd bombed it. I really did. The show and go that he created, I thought he hasn't got the pace to go around QLT. But the show and go, he's gone. He's got the man on his inside on the left. Had him on the inside, he showed it on the outside. He sidestepped QLT and went under the post. Fabulous try from the young fella.
Well, he backed himself, didn't he?
Yes, he did back himself, and he got his just rewards for what he's just gone through there. There's not many players get round QLT like that. He didn't really lay a hand on him there. Now they're going to go in at 18-0 at this moment in time. And hey, well deserved too from the York City Knights. Really, it really is.
Well, Liam Harris injured his knee against Hemel. He's one of the dual reg players from Hull Kingston Rovers. But I'll tell you what, he's making a name for himself. The bright lights of the TV cameras here at the start of the Super 8s.
Well, he's got 2 tries there. One he possibly shouldn't have, but that one was an absolute superb try for great individual skill from the young half. And he's kicked it.
Yeah, Robinson makes it 18-0, and there he is, Paul Rowley, the coach of the Toronto Wolfpack, with much to muse and much to talk about during half-time, because Toronto have never found themselves in this position. They're trailing by 18 points to 0. What a performance from the home side. The first time that the Wolfpack, who've averaged 60 points a game, haven't managed a single point in a half of rugby.
Well, I'd hate to be in the dressing room at this moment in time with Paul Rowley going there. I didn't think he'd say a lot, but yeah, I think you'll go in there with a paint stripper. You'll go in there, you'll be breathing fire at these boys because they've really underperformed here. There's been a
18-0. Let's go touch side and speak to Aaron.
And what a start here. We talked to your head coach ahead of the game. He said he was supremely confident in your offense. That's come to fruition in the first half.
Yeah, definitely. We knew we could always score points. What we needed to do was stop them scoring points, and we've done that, so we're pretty happy.
Voracious tackling and playing some expensive rugby of your own. A reversal of fortunes of what we've seen sometimes from the Wolfpack. Explain the fire in the bellies coming out in that first half.
Well, we just knew they were going to throw caution to the wind. They have nothing to lose sitting up top, and we thought if we're going to match them, we have to play like that. I thought we've done so well so far.
Keys in the second half, Jake.
Just complete, kick long, don't give them field position. I think we'll go all right.
Thanks for taking the time to join us.
Cheers, mate.
Yeah, thanks, Aaron. Jake Butler-Fleming, who's been one of the standout players for the York City Knights. Well, dissect that. We will be very soon here at Bootham Crescent. Are we about to witness one of the big shocks of the 2017 Rugby League season? The Wolfpack losing 18-0 at half-time to York. We'll be back for more very soon. Well, welcome back to Bootham Crescent from me, Stuart Pike and Phil Vevers. Are we going to witness a huge rugby league story at the start of the Super 8s this afternoon? The York City Knights leading the Toronto Wolfpack by 18 points to 0. And the Wolfpack can't have too many complaints, Phil.
They really can't have any complaints. They've been completely outplayed in this first half. That with the ill discipline that they've got, it's really playing into York's hands.
Well, yeah, you mentioned the ill discipline. Let's just have a look at what's let the Wolfpack down. They conceded 4 penalties in the opening 11 or 12 minutes, and they were made to pay. There was errors, there was drop ball, there was dissent. Yeah, Bob Bezic penalised there, and this was the story of the first quarter for the Wolfpack.
It was a huge story. That was the way it was. They had the pressure on the back of the neck here. A little headbutt on the floor as well, so there is ill discipline going right across. They got put on a team warning. You said the dissent that they got, they give a penalty away from that. The Briley incident where he opened his mouth because he's just got to get on with the game. He's not going to change what the referee did.
And here's the try.
Making that decision. And now we saw that bounce pass, the favoured pass that really causes everyone a lot of problems.
He has caused a lot of problems, hasn't he, Jake Butler-Fleming?
Oh, he's been great. He has been great.
Now, this is the second try.
Yeah.
QLT knocking the ball on. Liam Harris picking it up. But have a look. You spotted this.
I did, yeah. It's the hand that comes in and just it changes the trajectory of the ball.
Yeah, just a little finger.
It affects QLT, and that's why he drops the ball. And the try should never ever been given.
Well, no arguments about this one from Harris. What a score right on the stroke of half time.
As I said to you, I was blowing up because I thought he'd bombed the opportunity. He had a runner on the inside, but he rounded QLT like he wasn't there and then went in under the post.
Well, York City Knights 18, Toronto Wolfpack 0. This is a team, Phil, that's averaged 60 points a game to be nilled by York. York producing arguably their best performance of the season. What's Paul Rowley, the Toronto coach, going to do about this?
Well, he'll be in there with the paint stripper. He'll be ripping shreds off them about the errors that they've made, about not being able to control the ball when they're down on the York try line there. They've come up with that many errors down there. They've not come up with kicks. They've been tackled on the last tackle. And then obviously the ill discipline to give them the piggybacks out of their own half. He'll be saying, listen, control the ball, stop giving away penalties, and we're going to be in with a chance of getting a fight back here.
Well, let's give credit to the York City Knights coach James Ford, because they've got it spot on. I mean, I get the feeling that they've been fired up all week, and that's the way they've come out and play.
Well, he did say in the press that it wasn't going to be an easy game for Toronto coming here, that they weren't going to get it all their own way, and that they were going to put their hands up here and show that they could play a bit of ball themselves. And they've gone out there and they've actually done that very, very well.
Butler, Fleming, Harris, Robinson in the backs have been really impressive. But what they have done, I mean, the Wolfpack have got a huge pack of forwards, but York have taken it to them and have given it to them.
They've matched them, and that's the big thing. You know, most sides don't really match the Toronto forward pack, and the York pack here today have matched them, and which has given the opportunity for their outside backs to play a bit of ball.
What we do know, though, is that Toronto have points in them.
Well, we know that. You know, with their averaging 64 points in a season, there's definitely the opportunity for them to go back-to-back on some of their scores as well. So they've really got to be on their mettle here, York, and they've got to defend exactly how they did in the first half. How they really did cover each other's backs, and they scrambled in defence, and they got across there and closed down this Toronto attack.
Well, 40 minutes to go. I mean, not to put too fine a point on it, this would be a huge upset if York can finish the job.
Well, there has been upsets in the game, and when you're playing two teams going against each other, there's the opportunity for that to happen. If you're not there on the day and you're not respecting the opposition, because in effect, that's what they're not doing. They're not respecting York as an opposition, and they come up with all these errors, then these things can happen. And this could prove today.
Well, as they say, on any given day, any outcome is possible, and the York City Knights are proving that. You know, everybody came here, well, they expected possibly that it would be a real tough tussle for the Toronto Wolfpack. I don't think anybody expected what we saw in that first half.
Well, I think if they had said at the end of the game that Toronto were 50 and the York City they were like 30 or something like that, then everyone would have said, yeah, well, that's what we expected. But to go in at 18-0 at half-time, no one in their right mind would have expected that. There'll be a lot of bets down on this one.
Well, you know, also, you look at the likes of Whitehaven and Barrow just behind Toronto, will be having a look at this and thinking, well, hey, hang on a minute, just to remind you the way that it works in the Super 8s, the team that finishes top of the pile, automatic promotion to the Championship next year. Teams 2 to 5 play off, 2 plays 5, 3 plays 4, and then the winner of that will join the team that finished top through. So anyway, that's enough from Phil and I just for the moment. Let's get a Toronto view on what's gone wrong in that first half. Aaron is talking to the Wolfpack assistant coach Simon Finnegan.
Thanks, guys. Well, coach, a physical 40 minutes, and they played some expansive rugby of their own. York are up for it.
Yeah, they're certainly up for the game. There's a big crowd. You could hear them on the sidelines, and they play very well. But, you know, we've got to be a lot better with the ball, and I think we're defending quite well, even though it's 18-0 on the scoreline. But it's a high-intensity game. We knew they'd come out of the blocks really hard, and they haven't let us down.
One thing I noticed in that first 40 minutes, the bench, the mood never changed. There doesn't seem to be any panic despite the scoreline.
Well, it's not good to be 18-0 down, but I mean, there's 40 minutes to go. It's an old cliche. There's still a full half of footy to go. So if we're better with the ball in hand, I'm sure we'll be all right. But, you know, they're up for the game. They've brought everything we expected them to bring, so it's no shock, and we know we've got time on.
Main message in the sheds there between the two halves?
There's no panic. Stay to our structure and process, and we'll come out the other end. So there's no drama with us. There's 40 minutes to go, so we'll see where we're at the end of that 40.
Coach, thanks for taking the time to join us pitch side. Good luck in the second half.
Thanks, mate. Cheers.
Back up there.
Well, Toronto noticeably are out early for the start of the second half, Phil. Paul Rowley, the coach, has done his job, has had a word, and they've got 40 minutes to put this right.
Exactly right. That's what they've got. 40 minutes to do things right. It sounds like there wasn't a lot for him to say, I suppose. I think he got his point across. He let them know exactly what was going on, and he's now back up in the stand here, and they're out ready to go.
Well, just before York got their third try from Harris, it looked like Will Jubb, the hooker, had managed to get over the line. But it was pulled back for a double movement. Let's have a look at this. Was there any interference here? Let's have a close look. Yeah, well, there was a hand to the face, wasn't there? It looked like a high tackle. Was it Bezic involved in there?
Yeah, it was over the top. It was up around the head region, but I think the referee, all his attention was just on whether it was a double movement or not, or whether he'd scored. So he's missed that, but he did seem to catch out. Well, he did catch out the double movement, so give them a penalty.
Well, we are looking forward to the second half. Toronto 0. It's worth repeating. After 40 minutes, of rugby. Toronto 0. 18-0 in favour of the York City Knights here. And, well, can they keep it going? Will fitness tell? The part-timers against the full-timers. Will the moment, being in the moment, the adrenaline rush, will that come into it? All these questions and more to be answered in the next 40 minutes.
Definitely. All they can concentrate on is just concentrate on one set at a time. Just knock each one off, one with and without the ball, and get the field position and see if they can control this Toronto outfit and force them into more errors.
Well, a thoroughly enjoyable first 40 minutes, capped off by a brilliant individual try from the York City halfback Liam Harris. And we're underway. The Wolfpack against the City Knights at the start of the Super 8s for a place in the Championship.
And wind's
Wind
getting up.
just whipping up here. All our notes are going to go flying in a moment, I think.
The dark clouds seem to have been blown away as well, Stuart, so it doesn't look like there's going to be rain today.
Besic does well. Quick run from dummy half, over halfway for Toronto. Key opening moments of this second half. QLT goes on his own, has support from Laithwaite, but can't offload. First chance then for Toronto to put points on the board. Crossley. Big Steve Crossley brought down in the danger zone. On the last then, Besic. Wallace and Briley, and Whitey's got space inside for Ryan Briley. It's the perfect start for Toronto at the start of the second half. Ryan Briley's missed 3 matches, 11 tries in 7 for the Wolfpack, make that 12 tries in 8, and they strike right at the start of the second half.
I'd really like to have a look at this. I thought it was a forward pass here from Briley. Too wide. Oh, yes, it was. But he's backed up on the inside. The referee and toucher missed it. But hey, Briley's under the post. They're back in the game now. Back in the game. That's what they wanted. The coach would have said to them, we need to score first and score quick, just to give us some confidence to go forward. And they've done that very well. Yeah,
and in contrast, James Ford, the York City Knights coach, will say, whatever you do, you're kicking off at the start of the second half. Defend, 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 and keep them out. Let's have another look. Is there a forward pass there?
Well,
probably okay.
It's either flat or
yeah, probably okay.
We'll give it.
Yeah, we will. We have. They have. The referee has. It's 18 points to 6.
Game on. He needs to get a little bit more distance on this kickoff than what he did last time. He needs to punch it in under the wind and get it down on that try line.
Yep, Connor Robinson then with the kickoff. Took the Wolfpack 41 minutes.
He's
not the best kickoff again. Here's Crossley. Besic always busy in dummy half. Here's Fui Moi Moi. Good tackle coming in from Chris Siddons. Emmett. They have got a huge pack, haven't they?
They have got a huge pack, and as I said, that York had matched them in the first half. They just sat back on their heels here defensively. They're not getting off that defensive line and closing this Toronto outfit down at this moment. They're punching holes through the line at this moment in time.
Cry for a forward pass again from Besic to Laithwaite. The referee says it's okay. Just as if the half-time break has taken the sting out of York. Long pass to the far side for Hall. Can he find a way through? Gets the ball back to QLT. It went backwards. It's okay. The kick from Ryan Briley, a teasing kick, and in the end it'll be put behind by Ash Robson, and Briley with a speculative kick right from the touchline, and they're going to get a repeat set.
They've got a repeat set from a knock-on here. This come back. It went. That's a forward knock-on from QLT.
Yep.
He's allowed play on, and they've got a repeat set out of it. So they're riding their luck a little bit at the moment, Toronto, and
they'll take it.
They will, yeah. And York just not getting the rub of the green at this moment in time.
Well, York had it in the first half, didn't they, with that try from a knock on. Wallace takes the drop out. Crossley busy at the start of the second half, and a real sea change at the start of this second half. Here's Emmett. Looks like a different Toronto side. The Wolfpack beginning to howl, and Bezick's over. Bezick straight from dummy half. 2 tries in the space of 4 minutes, and the Wolfpack are right back in this. 18-0 down, 18-10, kick to come. Different game now.
It's like we said earlier, that Toronto are very capable of getting back-to-back tries, and they marched them down there from the kick-off. They got the repeat set. I think they're pretty fortunate to get it, but everyone was worried about Fui Moi coming off Bob Bezick then. He sold him the dummy, dropped the shoulder, nipped in underneath the post. He just carried Will Jubb across the line as he goes across under the black dot. Kick to come, it'll make it 18-12, and it definitely is going on now, Stuart.
Is it a case of panic over for Toronto, I wonder?
I just think now that the coach has got him in at half-time. He's put a rocket into him. He's told him exactly what he wants from him in the second half, and picking up the tempo, picking up the intensity and the urgency, and they've come out and they've done that. I think
York haven't had the ball yet in the second half.
That's what I mean, yeah. So I'm just about to say that too, Stuart. They haven't seen the ball, but as I said, their line defence is just
Paul Rowley, a
not
happier
going
man.
Just not moving up at this moment. They're just inviting them to punch holes into their line, and they're not as hungry defensively as they were in that first half.
Well, there's the high-hanging kick that you were calling for, and Jubb nearly got hold of it for York. York had to make a strong defensive start. We talked about that during the break. They haven't in this second half, and Toronto have come out. The Wolfpack are hunting. They're back in the game at 18-12. York finally stepping up to the plate defensively, but Bezick so dangerous from dummy half, ball in hand.
He's the rudder in this side, Bob Bezick. He gets everyone around, and a bit like Wallace. Him and Wallace work well together. Oh, forward pass.
Yeah, it was forward. Bezick, Emmett, Whiting involved. There was a couple of passes there. One of them was certainly forward.
Well, eventually they got one. Been a couple of borderline ones. Yeah, that was definitely forward. That one.
Emmett to Whiting, forward pass. So the first time that York are going to get their hands on the ball in the second half.
They just need to complete this set. Ask a few questions early on in this half. I think the coach would have put a message down after that second try and said, listen, forget about the first 2 tries. Let's start again in the second half. Let's get into that grind again. Get into the grind of the game where we go set for set with them.
So what can they do? Ball in hand. And the offload, that's picked up well there by Butler Fleming. Butler Fleming looking for support. He had it outside him there from Nev Morrison. Just couldn't offload. Moi with the tackle. Here is Harris, holds the ball up, and Robinson with a flat pass. York looking to strike back after being hit by 2 Toronto tries from Briley and Bezick in the space of 4 minutes. It goes to the left-hand side with Connor Robinson. That's a good offload. And Moran brought down for York. Threatening again. Here's Adam Robinson, and Harris again looking for a way through. Offloads, does well to Spears. Spears brought down by Richard Whiting. Still a couple of tackles left in this set for York. Harris dabs the kick through, trying to put pressure on, and QLT will have to run that ball out, and the Wolfpack will drop out from underneath their own post, but good sensible play from Liam Harris for York.
Just seemed to pick up a little bit in that last set. A few offloads in there, caused a few jinks in the Toronto line, and a lovely little kick in there from Liam Harris, and a good chase. And QLT had to play at it, had to catch it, and take it over the dead ball because the pressure was coming from the attacking team.
The Super 8s in League One. Champions go up automatically. One of the side will go up through the playoffs. Here is Adam Robinson for York. He's a big lad.
He is a big lad. He is a big lad, and they've picked him up off the floor as well.
Spears.
The referee was screaming out there, hell.
Jump at dummy half. Well, a little dab through there. Not the best play for Robinson, picked up by Craig Hall, and here comes QLT for Toronto. Well, a mistake there from Connor Robinson. You can't give possession to Toronto because they can strike from anywhere. Briley, long pass out for Laithwaite. And all of a sudden, the Wolfpack turning defence into attack.
That's just inexperience there coming from the little halfback there. His third tackle, and he's putting a kick in. He ran into a dead alley, and he put in a nothing kick and give the ball away cheaply, and now they're under the pump on their own line.
Bezic again. Crossley held up just short. 1, 2, 3, 4 York defenders in there. Hay bringing him down along with Spears, and well, that was knocked down. That will be a scrum. Toronto head and feed 10 yards away from the York try line, and it was Connor Robinson who made the initial error, but real pressure. It just has the feel of a different game now.
Yeah, it does. They've come out, this is a different Toronto team in the second half. They've come out fired up, they've got more direction about themselves, a little bit more vigour. They get themselves to a point and then playing. On that occasion, Connor Robinson took it into his own hand to stop the play. I don't think he would have gone the distance if he'd have caught it, but it's cost him dearly here because. Hold it. Oh no, he's called it double.
Pull it off.
I'd love to see this.
Well, let's have a look at this. What's the referee saying there? Craig Hall.
I thought he landed on his back and reached over the back and scored the try.
Well, Hall was through.
He said his elbows hit the floor when he's hit the back.
What's the momentum? What was the momentum in the move? Well, that's a 50-50 call. You've seen them given, you've seen them not given.
I agree totally. The other thing I think the coach would have said too is with this referee, you can't say nothing to him. You need to shut your mouth and just get on with the game. I do know this young fella, he tends to give a lot of penalties for dissent.
Tom Grant, the referee. Craig Hall with the try disallowed. He thought there maybe he'd scored his 21st try of the season, the Wolfpack captain. Here is Zeus Silk for York. Jubb busy at dummy half. He's got support from Spears, but goes on his own, brought down by opposite number Bob Bezic. Impressed with the way that York are going about their business again. Robinson with a kick downfield after the run from Ash Robson. And a good take from QLT on the far side, and they will run it where they can. They will run it. Here's Liam Kay. 6-point ball game at Bootham Crescent.
That's one thing that Toronto are not afraid to do in their own 20 is to play a little bit of football. And you saw there QLT rolled out of the tackle from D, and he found the pass to Liam Kay under the post, and all of a sudden the tackle 3, and they're in the York half.
Bussing brought down by Jubb. Wolfpack with Pownell. Trailed 18-0 at half-time, Toronto. Sidlow. Bezic again at dummy half, and Wallace with a little dig through, and under pressure Robson just managed to shadow the ball there. Laithwaite was inches away from getting a hand on the ball.
Very brave by the fullback there. He showed plenty of mettle and nerves there just to hold up Braithwaite. Now they've got 7 tackles, and it was a good first carry off Robson. He sprinted to the 20, and it took him out 40 metres away from his own line, and he gets a penalty.
High tackle by Bezic on DFJ, the Foggin Johnston, the York winger.
Yeah, it was high. It's caught him on the chin there. And there's a kick. Just had a little bit too much on it. Full back there, Laithwaite. Yep.
We'll say that was really good judgment by Ash Robson.
It was, yeah. He showed some nerve there. I've seen plenty of fullbacks kick it dead when they've got a bit of pressure put on them.
Says a former fullback in his pump, Phil Weavers at St Helens. Joined Saints in 1984. 12 years at the old Knowsley Road. So he knows what he's talking about. Spears for York. Still ahead, despite conceding those 2 tries at the start of this second half, of course. Oh, Batula! What a crucial ankle tap that was from Craig Hall. He was through. Robson looked to go on his own over the try line. He's held on his back. But what a crucial ankle tap. I think it was from Craig Hall to stop Batchelor for York.
Batchelor ran a great line there, and it was a fabulous ankle tap from Craig Hall. He'd overread the play, and he had to scramble back to get in there to make the play.
He was over. QLT would not have got across in time.
No, he wouldn't.
And then Robson held on his back over the line. But Craig Hall, the Toronto captain, saving a certain try.
Little stoppage in play as Bussy gets a bit of treatment done there from the physio.
Well,
I think he might have a bit of a cut around his nose.
Hall's been busy, hasn't he? Had a try disallowed at one end and then saving a try at the other.
Yep, real busy. He's been busy over the last few weeks as well, the amount of tries that he scored.
340 points now in league games alone.
That's a bit special.
From Craig Hall this season. So on we go. You're very, very close to another try. Oh, that's a good kick through. Well, that looks like it's going to be another dropout, I think. Yep, QLT getting his hand on the ball.
He's got a touch on it, I think. It looked like it was going to go through for all money, and he has just sat up and he's just flicked it out over the dead ball.
Good pressure from York.
Yeah.
Steady the ship somewhat, haven't they, after that 2-try blitz at the start of the half from the Wolfpack.
As like you said, that first 6-7 minutes of the second half, York never had the ball, and now they're going set for set with the Toronto outfit. They're building a bit of pressure here. This is their second set off the back of a repeat set, so see what they can come up with here now.
Yep. A mighty kick. York just inside the Wolfpack half of the field. Matter of months ago, the York City Knights were on the verge of folding. Now they have a bright future ahead of them, a new ground on the horizon, a new owner with ambitious plans. I'm looking for a history-making victory over the Wolfpack here today. Good run from the former Castleford fullback Robson. And that's another penalty.
I think it's a high shot, Stuart.
Yeah. Was it Bussy again? Bussy just sticking out an arm. I don't think there was anything malicious in there. It was just high, the end.
Yeah.
Big call now. Do they go for the 2 to stretch the lead to 8? It's very kickable. What's the coach's call, Phil?
Well, I don't think 2 points is going to win the game for him. That's the problem. I really don't think it'll win the game for him. I think there's a couple of tries. I think
James
will be
Ford
needed
will have given his
for
instructions
York to win this game.
Yep. It's an easy 2 points, which would extend it to 20 points to 12.
Looks like they're going for it.
Yep, it does. It looks like they are going for the 2 now. Does that send out a little message to the Toronto Wolfpack? Is that caution, or is that sensible call from the coach? You would have carried on, wouldn't you?
I would have had to play on. It's just, my thought pattern would be that 8 points isn't going to win the game for York. They really do need a couple of tries to sort of push themselves away from Toronto. But they're obviously going for this, where they're going to make it 20 points to 12, which will put it 2 scores out. But you saw before from Toronto that they're quite easy, go back to back with their ability to score tries.
Well, it was the call of the coach. Ash Robson receiving treatment. There is Paul Rowley. His team has still got a lot of work to do. They made the perfect start to the second half with those tries from Brierley and Bezic in the space of 3 minutes when York didn't touch the ball.
And now that they've got it, they've asked a few questions of Toronto, but for an ankle tap from Craig Hall that could have extended their lead to 2 scores. Bit of downtime here while Robson still gets treated by the physio. So he's obviously...
Well, I think what they're deciding is whether there's any concussion involved and whether as a precaution...
The referee's put it on report.
Yeah, it goes on report, so the disciplinary will have a look at Jack Bussey's challenge. And finally, Connor Robinson will get the chance to extend the lead for the York City Knights.
How many penalties is that now, Stuart?
9 penalties against the Wolfpack. 3 against York, approaching the hour mark. We'll have a look at the tackle from Bussey in just a moment. After the kick from Connor Robinson, which extends the lead to 20 points to 12. Here's the incident that led to the penalty.
I don't think there's a lot in it, to be fair. I think the first contact clipped him on the shoulder, then rides up into his face. As for it being put up for the judiciary, I think he'll get away with that there. I don't think it'll eventually get up to red all.
Rugby League disciplinary sits every week. Controversial system, controversial decisions. It's always been a controversial body, hasn't it, the Rugby League Disciplinary Committee, down the years?
Everyone has their 2 bits about them. Some, they do as best a job as they possibly can. That's what they do.
The one improvement over the years that's come with the disciplinary is that they now have ex-players on, somebody who actually has played the game and can give a proper view. Yeah,
players and coaches. They also have a coach, a couple of coaches that go on there. So I think it gives a level playing field when people do go up there.
If you were on, everyone would be guilty.
I'm not that bad. No, not that bad.
20 points to 12, thoroughly enjoyable here. Well, they've lost the ball, and Hall gets the ball out to the far side, and Powell goes for the try line. Has he managed to get down? No, he hasn't. Desperate defending from York. They lost the ball in an impossible position. Craig Hall, though, will go over for the try, and Craig Hall's remarkable try-scoring record for the Toronto Wolfpack continues. They hit straight back. Let's have a look. Robinson, well...
He's tried to offload.
Yeah.
He's tried to offload.
Here's Pownell. They're just smart play in the end from Craig Hall to use the blind side, and a 21st try of the season for the captain.
Well, Bradley Hay, he actually knew exactly what Craig Hall was going to do when he got into dummy half. He's just too big and too strong for the young fella. He couldn't stop him down there. He was there at marker and showed a dummy and went down the short side. And I don't think Mr. Ford there in picture will be...
Well, it was the error that, I mean, like...
That's the thing.
As a coach, you drum it into players from the kickoff. You see out the set, don't you? You see out the set from the kickoff as Craig Hall from the touchline hits the post. And out it comes, so it's still a 4-point ball game in favour of the York City Knights, but the error from Connor Rob, offloading 20 yards from your own try line, is always going to be a gamble, and it proved costly for York.
Well, you are. You're putting yourself in a situation there to really come unstuck, and he paid the ultimate penalty off the back of his error. They scored a try off it, so... As I said, there's a lot of inexperience in this York side, with a lot of young fellas that are just learning the ropes and learning how to play this game at the highest level. So sometimes you've just got to let them learn through their errors, and that's one error that they'll never make again, that's for sure.
4-point ball game. Yeah, young players make errors, don't they?
Coaches have got to be understanding to say, well, he's still learning the game, but when it's such a big game, at that moment in time, as a coach, you're not thinking that. I'll guarantee you that.
Here is Bussey, no number on his shirt, but does get the offload to QLT. Arguably the most dangerous player with ball in hand breaking in the division. And he's pretty dangerous as well, isn't he? The halfback.
Wallace.
Blake Wallace, yep. Here's Bezic. They run the short side. Laithwaite recovered well from a serious neck injury at the start of the season, James Laithwaite. And Briley and Hall puts a little kick over the top looking for Pownall, but a little bit too much on that from the Toronto captain. The ball will go dead, and York will get it back on their own 20. 20 points to 16. The Wolfpack still trailing at Bootham Crescent.
Every time they've got down in that 20-metre area, they've gone and put it through two passes. Toronto have. They put it through two passes. They haven't really looked to kick. They're more a bit worried about trying to come up with a short ball defensively and get them on an edge. But the two times they have kicked, one from Wallace and one from Hall, has resulted in the ball going dead and York getting 7 tackles. The line speed that they're coming up with here to really restrict. Oh, it's an error.
Well, another error. Yeah, Porter involved, Jubb involved, and all of a sudden the mistakes that they were making.
Just no control over the ball when he went to play it.
Yep, Joe Porter, the mistakes that they weren't making in the first half and are creeping into their game.
It's like role reversal, isn't it? You know, in the first half. In the first half, it was all Toronto that was making those silly errors. Now it's role reversal, and it's York making all these errors and putting themselves under no end of pressure.
Yep. Here is Briley and Hall and the space outside, but a terrible pass from Craig Hall. York get away with the error. Hall with a rare error for Toronto. Well.
It was a bad error, this, in the field position they've got. They created the overlap, and all he had to do was just put it into his hands, and just a really poor pass from Craig Hall. You just give him all the raps about all the points and tries that he scored this year, and he's come up with a crucial error there for Toronto.
Phil Vevers with us here at the start of the Super 8s in League One from Bootham Crescent. Getting very tense. Just to let you know, by the way, that the clock that you can see on your screen isn't necessarily the right time. Another penalty given away.
Yellow card.
Another yellow card. Well, Jack Bussey can argue all he likes, but they were on a team warning, and Bussey goes to the sin bin protesting his innocence.
Let's have a look. Bob Bezic is asking the question, why? I can't see a lot of, unless they're talking about him stretching his neck. He had his hands around his throat. You can't see it from this angle, but yeah, the referee was in the position on the other side of the ruck, and he saw Bussey had his hands
just
around
a bit
his
of
neck,
afters, wasn't it?
Yeah, he was stretching him up and then dropped down on him. So
just saying about the clock that you see on your screen doesn't stop when the referee actually stops play on the field. So once we get to 80 minutes, we will be carrying on. I reckon there's probably about 62, 63 minutes gone, but we'll just keep an eye on that. But just be aware, when it comes down to the nail-biting finale, the clock will go past 80 minutes. Who will be in front when the clock goes past 80 minutes? York with that 4-point advantage. Here is Batchelor down that left-hand channel. Had a good game. Joe Batchelor, signed from the Coventry Bears and making a name for himself here at the York City Knights. On the last, short side, and Connor Robinson with the kick downfield. Picked up by QLT, but pinning the Wolfpack fullback. Good chase.
They have to have that chase when QLT's got the ball, because he has that ability where he's got that little goose step which he goes further across the field. And they had half the field chasing there, and they really did close him down inside the 10-metre area. Now 3 tackles in, and they're only just outside the 20.
High drama at the start of the Super 8s. The Wolfpack trailing. Still trailing. 18-0 down at half-time. They've forced their way back into things. On halfway, Worthington on the last. Ball comes back for Briley. That's a really high hanging teaser. That's a great take on the far side by DFJ. Good play, D.
That was a fabulous take. That was all over the place, that ball. It wasn't just an end-over-end ball. He tried for the spiral. It was one of them ugly ones, wobbly all over the place, and he's picked it up very, very well.
Well, the offload from Connor Robinson. It was Robinson's error that led to the last try for Toronto. But they're having a go. Here is
Liam Harris again.
Yeah, Liam Harris has been outstanding for York this afternoon. And here they come with Porter. Porter trying to find a way through. Play on, says the referee. Still just inside their own half of the field. Harris it was at dummy half, and across comes Jubb now. The run from Kieran Moran on the last. What could York do? Is there going to be any pressure on the Wolfpack defence? That's a high hanger from Robinson. QLT. Oh, great play by D. D. Foggin Johnson gets the ball out. Batchelor goes for the line. Can he keep going, Batchelor? Oh, well, it came off a Toronto hand.
All right.
It's 6 to go. Play on. Here is Robson. Massive moments in this match now. That was a great take by DFJ on the far side. It may well have come off a Toronto player. Well, it did. Play on, says the ref. Jubb going for the line. A 4-point ball game. Into the final quarter. Moran goes for the line. Can't find a way through. Stopped inches away.
Go at the left edge, they'll get around Hall.
Here it comes with Harris. Harris with a little offload to Silk. Good defence, but the ball goes inside. Chance for the line. Is it going to be a try? Is he held it just short? Porter. Wow, wow, wow. It looked like a certain try for Porter there.
That's a bomb. That's a bomb try.
Yep.
If it had gone in there hard and low, he would have scored that try. He's gone in there high, and they've done exceptionally well to hold him up over the line. Real
tension. Batchelor with a little chip towards the line, and well, it was a good kick because in the end Powell couldn't take any chances under pressure from DFJ, and it'll be a drop out.
That moment there with Joe Porter not scoring that try could be the turning point in this game. Really good. That could have been the defining moment on York winning this game or losing the game.
Here he goes.
Just went in too high.
Yeah, needs to go low.
Yeah. Goes in hard and low, he scores the try.
Good kick from
Great kick.
Batchelor. Powell not taking any chances. Well, they've lost some momentum and they've lost some ground, and here is Joe Porter. Porter trying to make up for not scoring the try. Eventually gets up and plays the ball. And, good run from Ned Morrison coming in off the right wing. Jubb and Harris now, and Silk down this near side. Yeah, we thought that Joe Porter was a certain try scorer.
Opportunity around Adam Sidlow here.
Yep, if they can. Harris goes on his own with a show and go. Lovely offload. They're in. It's a try for Connor Robinson. Wow! The Wolfpack can't believe it, but it was made brilliantly by Liam Harris. A lovely offload, and Connor Robinson is in by the side of the post. What a time to score. The home crowd are on their feet. Our York City Knights on their way to a famous, famous win.
Well, as I called it just before he played the ball, I said there was an opportunity in and around Adam Sidlow. And the little halfback, he skipped across the line, And that's the man he went at on the inside shoulder, Adam Sidlow. He could only get an arms tackle. He gets the offload out to a trailing attacker, and there he was to give the pass, draw in QLT, and send Connor Robinson over for the try, right beside the post.
And what a pass from the prop forward, Kieran Moran.
I know, but he skipped it through the line. Kieran Moran backed up, drew the fullback, and away they were over under the post. Great play from York. All off the back of a repeat set too, and building some pressure down here on this Toronto. They really have excelled today, York. You know, that first...
Well, they stayed in it, Phil.
Yeah, that first 5 minutes in the second
every time
half.
Toronto have threatened to take control, York have hit back. Here is
you're right.
Robinson.
You just see Jake Emmett going off and Fui Moi coming back on. And you're seeing Adam Sidlow going off.
Yep.
And Crossley coming on for this Toronto outfit. They're really got some fresh bodies on here. I'm pretty sure they might be going short here by the looks of it.
Yeah, looking for the short kickoff. Stuart Pike and Phil Vevers loving every minute of this Super 8 playoff game here at Bootham Crescent. Oh, good take from Harris right behind his own try line. And is he going to get pushed back? Just manages to stay in play. It was a huge kick from Ryan Briley. A 10-point ball game into the final 10 minutes. It means that the Wolfpack have to score 2 converted tries to win this game. Are York going to cause the upset of the season in League One? That's for sure, and maybe one of the shocks of the season in Rugby League in 2017. No one really could expect or could predict that this was coming against a team that's been unbeatable and quite frankly has looked unbeatable. Robinson with a little chip over the top, causing some problems. QLT, oh, he's knocked the ball on. That'll be 6 to go. Play on, should be 6 to go. What's the referee going to say? Well, is it going to be a knock on initially against QLT, or is it going to be another penalty?
Well, it should be back to one.
The
it should be a zero
should have been wiped. Robinson with a cheeky little kick. QLT.
I was screaming, it was a shocking kick.
Yeah, well, it turned out to be a good one. What's he going to give?
Oh, he's not. He said that QLT's not actually touched the ball.
Well, the call must have come from the touch judge.
I'd love to have a look at it.
Yeah. The call must have come from the touch judge that the ball evaded QLT.
Didn't look that way, did it? Anyway, they're on the...
Well, the word from the boys on the far side, it was the right call. QLT didn't touch it, so there we go. The ref and the touch judge getting it right. Closing stages, 26-16. York City Knights against the Toronto Wolfpack. Here is QLT. Powerful tackle there coming in from Harris. Laithwaite at dummy half, and Wallace. Now Crossley. Bezic and Briley. Oh, it's space opening up for Wallace here. Can he find a way through? Dragged back by Ash Robson as he was stretching over to put the ball down. Nerve-wracking right at the end of a thrilling match on the last. Briley, if they got numbers out there, Hall for Pownall, and Johnny Pownall will dive over in the corner. Is he going to give the try?
Hold it.
He's having a word with the touch judge. Decision time here. Has Pownall scored?
No try. Knock on.
Well,
20-metre restart.
Well, we're going to have another look at that. Big call. Let's have a look. Across comes Pownall.
Oh, that's I've seen him given.
Yeah.
I have seen them given. He just needed the downward pressure on that.
That's a huge call. That's a massive call from...
That is a massive call.
I think it was the touch judge who called it, to be fair.
I'd love to see it again at that same angle, but...
Well. If you're York City Knight, you're thrilled by that decision. If you're Toronto Wolfpack, you can't believe it.
Oh, yes, possibly. I've seen them given.
Well, that, as I say,
It was a 50-50 call.
it was a 50-50 call, wasn't it? I think the key thing is, did he have control of the ball?
Key thing is, did he get downward pressure on it?
Yeah. Probably he didn't. But they were a lot closer. They made the decision. Robinson with the kick downfield. Well, that was a big call. That was a huge call. I reckon there's about 5 minutes to go.
You reckon?
I reckon that we've had about 5 minutes of time stopped by the referee, who just stopped the clock again. Just to remind you that the clock on the screen does not stop. So that isn't indicative of real time or game time.
So you reckon there's 5 minutes left?
I reckon 5 minutes.
Well, I don't know whether the ref knows either. Well, somebody knows how long there is.
Yeah.
Is to go.
It's Robson down with cramp in back plate. Let's have a look. We're going to have another look at the moment. And the referee is unsure. Here's the dive from Pownell. The touch judge. The referee has a word with the touch judge. The referee says, I don't know. Yeah, and it was the referee's call. That's a big call.
Tom Grant's he called that.
Well, the referee was a fair way away. Could he see? Well, it's all academic now. As Phil and I say, we've seen them given and we've seen them ruled out.
Correct.
I don't think, to be fair to the officials, if we did have a video ref here, we couldn't say now with any certainty which way the video ref would go.
It'd go with the call on the field. That's the way it'd go.
Non-try.
Yeah,
no try. So we are into the closing 4 or 5 minutes.
Whoa,
huge tackle on Bussey. What a tackle! Adam Robinson, the big lad, with the big hit. Here comes Hall on the far side. Well, just gets the ball out. Anywhere will do. Pownell now. Desperate defending from York. Here is Bussey. Ball goes back for Fui, Moy. They're standing still. Briley trying to find something from somewhere. Wallace with the kick towards the far side, and it goes straight out of play. Well, the error from Blake Wallace, and time is ticking. The clock is ticking. It's a turnover. York get the ball back. I reckon there's still probably a good 3 or 4 minutes to play. I remind you again, that clock is not match time. That doesn't include when the referee stops the clock, and the ref has stopped the clock again. Incredible drama. The Wolfpack trail by 10. Are they going to lose their first match of the season in the league?
Every chance that they could, but we also know that with 3 or 4 minutes to go, we also know that this Toronto Wolfpack have got the ability to go back-to-back with their tries, but this has been a Herculean effort from this York outfit. Their coach must be extremely proud of the players and the effort that they put in for him today.
Paul Rowley, a worried man. He knew, he said in his pre-match interview, this was going to be a tough one, but I don't think even he could have expected it to be this tough, this hard. And to see his Toronto side on the brink of defeat. Well, we're going to give our man of the match, Phil and I reckon it's a pretty simple choice for me. Liam Harris, the York halfback, has been absolutely outstanding from start to finish. He's scored 2 tries. He's made another one crucially at the start of this second half. So our man of the match is the York City Knights, number 31, Liam Harris. Great kick downfield there from Connor Robinson. Turns the Wolfpack around. They're racing to form the scrum and stop the clock. The drama intensifies.
He hasn't stopped it yet.
Outstanding, hasn't he?
31, yeah.
Yeah, on
He's just
dual
stopped
reg
the
from
clock
Hull
again.
Kingston Rovers. He's missed the last 3 games through injury. And I'll tell you what, he's put himself in the shop window here today. There'll be a lot of clubs having a very close look. If they didn't know about Liam Harris before, is he a League One best kept secret? Well, he isn't anymore.
He's not. The second try that he scored was outstanding today. As you said, his kicking game, his organisational skills.
Knocked from Crossley, and it's picked up by Jubb for York. Is that the game up for the Toronto Wolfpack? Crossley dropping the ball on the first. Here is Moran for York. They lead by 26 points to 16. An incredible story developing here. Robson goes for the line.
Oh, forward pass.
He's given a forward pass. Oh, here's the error originally by Crossley.
I just don't understand why they've gone for this forward pass. They really just need to complete the set down there, pin them down there, roll the ball in goal, get a repeat set.
Adrenaline.
They come up with an error now, and it's given them an opportunity here to maybe get a try.
Adrenaline. Still a couple of minutes to go, I reckon. But they're a long way off, aren't they? They're gambling on the short side with Liam Kay. Toronto beat York 64-22 at the Lamport Stadium just 4 weeks ago. Liam Kay scored 5 tries. York City Knights have probably come up today with one of their best performances in many, many years. The clock continues to tick down. Bussy.
He's going for a penalty here.
Well, he is. Here's Fui Moi Moi. Trying to offload, just shy of halfway. Desperate defending from York. Bussy again from dummy half with a really good run. Trying to win the penalty. Bezic.
That's tackle 4, I think.
Yeah, last one, a 10-point ball game, still the clock ticks. The referee has stopped the clock a lot in this second half. Craig Hall with a run. Craig Hall puts a little kick on, but there's too much on the kick from Craig Hall, and out it goes. And is that the last chance gone for the Wolfpack, Phil Vevers?
I think it is, the referee stopped the clock again. This York outfit, they're dead on their feet. They're out on their feet. They've been absolutely enormous today. They've scrambled defensive. They've worked really, really hard. Bar the first 5 minutes of this second half, they have been by far the best team on the park.
That's why we love sport. That's why we love rugby league. On any given day, any outcome is possible. And the outcome looks like being a history-making win for the York City Knights against the Toronto Wolfpack. 15 out of 15, perfect in the regular season.
Must be all up now, Stuart.
Well, yeah. Just to remind you, that clock on the screen doesn't take into account the referee stopping the clock.
Yeah, they probably got a hotel and all. Sleeping tonight.
The clock continues to tick.
He's had a big game too.
He has, yeah.
Adam Robinson.
Impact player. The big lad, as we like to call him. And he's put in a big performance. Here is Zeus Silk for York on the short side. On the last, Jubb. Ball goes back for Harris. Under pressure from Pick. Good take from QLT. Have the Wolfpack got anything left? Is there enough time? I doubt it. They've got to score twice. Yeah. The man of the match is limping. Liam Harris limping out to this right wing.
He's got a massive cramp.
Yeah. Here is Kay for Toronto.
There it is.
And there it is.
There it is.
There is the final hooter. History in the making here at York. They have beaten the all-conquering Toronto Wolfpack. Incredible scenes by 26 points to 16. 15 out of 15 at the start of the regular season for the Toronto Wolfpack. But at the start of the Super 8s, they have been undone by an heroic performance from the York City Knights. Phil Vevers, I don't think the Wolfpack can have too many complaints.
No, they really haven't. They were outplayed off the park. You know, I think there's probably only 2 5-minute patches in the game that Toronto really aimed up today to be at the level that they've shown all year. This York outfit have been simply outstanding, you know, from 1 to 17. They've all put their hand up, they've scrambled defensively, they've got across, covered each other's back, and some of the tries that they've scored have been sensational.